Water is really a first priority in the world, and this forum is dealing with the big challenge on water, including regulation of the water services. And I do believe that many countries around the world have a very poor situation now regarding water services, water supply and sanitation, which is not the case of Spain and Portugal, but anyway, even in Spain and Portugal and all the other European countries, we have a lot to do yet. My belief about that is that all the countries need, according the Sustainable Development Goals from the United Nations, approved in 2015, one of the goals is exactly regarding water. And to comply with that goal, countries around the world must implement better public policies on water services. And that means to have a strong strategy, to have a good national legal framework, to have good institutional framework, to have good governance models, instruments, technical instruments to deal with the service, to assess the services regarding quality of service, water quality for human consumption, and of course tariffs also, and take care about the protection of the consumers, take care about the poor consumers, and guarantee that in the sector we have good information to support good decision. In that, let's say, public policy that I believe countries must develop, one of the components, institutional component, is the regulation of the water services. And regulation can be applied through different models. In Portugal, we decided 15 years ago a model of regulation where that authority, which is independent from the government, independent means do not receive instructions from the government, do not receive money from the national budget, and the administration cannot be removed by the ministry, must have a complete mandate. That with that independence, the regulator tries to guarantee a good balance between the providers of those services and the users of those services. And we are speaking about monopolistic service. That means that relation is always very difficult with the users in a very difficult position because they have no alternative. So regulator is a third part in the table, and in that table another part must be present, and it is not present in Jean, which is the next generation, because we need to think about the water services today and that relation between providers and users, but in a way that we can or do not affect the future generations. We need to take care in any decisions about what we want to achieve now, but also what is impact in medium term. So regulator has an important role of balance between those different interests, and in Portugal we apply regulation at two different levels. Regulatory authority, the name is ERSAR, is responsible for the behavior regulation of the utilities. That means each utility, water utility, and we have 400 in countries, we are responsible, the regulator is responsible to guarantee first that utility comply with law and comply with contracts. Second, the economic regulation, that means the tariff the utility applied to the consumers. Third, the quality of service which is provided by the utility to the consumers. And that means a set of 16 performance indicators, and those performance indicators give us a good picture about the performance of the utility, and if they can achieve the targets, they have a green color, but if they do not achieve, they have a red color, which means you need to do better. But also regulator controls the water quality for human consumption according to European standards, and also the relation between the user and the utility. If I am a user and I want to make a complaint, I need to have someone that guarantees that I will receive an answer and a fair answer, and regulator as a whole. The other level is that regulator has an important role also on the structural regulation of the sector. What that means, we are not speaking about this or that utility, but all sector, and there, the regulator must develop all the analyses and studies to support a good public policy by governance. It's decision of the government, but based on sound analysis and information from the regulator. To have a sound legal framework, good legislation, and the regulator is responsible to propose new legislation or to change the existing one. To create capacity building in the sector so that we can have very good professionals working on that. And the last but not least, very good information, responsible to get the information about the sector and to transfer that information to decision makers, to the public in general. For instance, in Portugal, any citizens, Portuguese or foreign, can access in his smartphone, just making download an application. The name is ERSAR, the name of the regulator, which is free. And with that application, you can know in any moment what is the quality of service on water supply, wastewater, and also solid waste in any municipality in Portugal. If you are living in one municipality, you can check the quality of service which is provided to you. If you move for holidays for the next one, you can check again if the water is safe, if the continuity of service is good, and so on and so on. So give the information not only to the decision levels and professionals, but also to the public is very important for us. So the Portuguese regulator works with this model, and the results of the public policy during more than 20 years, we started in '93, together with the role of the regulator, had a strong impact in those services in Portugal. For instance, speaking about water supply, we moved in that period of 20-25 years from 80% of population with public water supply to 95%. But regarding water quality for human consumption, we moved from 50% only, according to European standards, to 99%, so it was a huge move. On wastewater, we moved from 30% of collection with treatment 25 years ago to 80% now, which is very good, and the impact on public health, on environment was very strong. For instance, nowadays, you can swim in any beach in Portugal, because all them has good quality, because the charges of wastewater have been controlled. Or, for instance, on public health, we have no more disease related with water. Even hepatitis A reduced in that period from, let's say, 700 per year to 5 per year, which is a huge decrease. So if you have a good public policy on water services and a good regulation to deal with all those components of the public policy, you can have success. You never had complete success. You always remain with problems, and we have our problems, but we are always trying to do our best.